Hi, I'm Keegan, and this is A Bunch of Gamers. This is our 144th episode of Werewolf the Apocalypse 20th Anniversary Edition, Call of the Apocalypse. I'm going to go around and have my players introduce themselves.
I'm Tyler, and I play Kyle, also known as Guards the Low. He's a Philodox of the Children of Gaia.
Hi, I'm Sam. I play Cora. She's an Aruna in the Geta Fenris.
Hi, I'm Adam. I play Mark Guides the Fallen, and he's a Thurge of the Children of Gaia.
Hi, I'm Sean. I play Zeb Speaks-in-Sweet-Whispers. He is a Theurge of the Silent Striders.
Hi, my name is George. I am playing William Grows-Matrices. He is a rune of the Glasswalkers.
Last time, the Pax had finished up with Nurgle and had left the orbit of Mars. Crossing the great vast solar system, they went to Pluto, braving a storm of wildlings and finding that Meros, the incarnate of the planet, was not there. Using clues, vibrations, and a little bit of luck, they found the spirit wandering and found out his opinion of the child. Meros believing that the child of destiny and the apocalypse are meant to happen, and that something new will come after the apocalypse. Armed with this information and a new insight into at least how one of the spirits views the world, the Pax made their way back to the monastery and now have decided to call a concordant. And now the Pax begin their journey anew to return to the physical world and try and save the life of this child. You begin leaving the monastery, starting to move back out into the ethereal realm. What would you like to do? How would you like to proceed?
Well, as much as I'd like to go back home, I feel like it's still too dangerous to go back to Sacred Stone. So I think we need to find another place that we can set for a minute and either summon spirits or some crows and ravens to get the message out.
Well, we're still going to go to the Fera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we need to drop off the cub first and then do that.
And then that helps with the Corax piece.
Definitely.
True. One quick question. Since we kind of all decided that it would be best for us to raise the cub as they were a normal Garou, how long are we going to leave the cub with the Fera?
Through the trial?
Just through the trial? Okay.
I mean, at that point, they're not going to be executed on sight.
Fair enough. Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Well, assuming they judge in our favor. If not, we'll all be dead and play Wraith.
All right.
Cool. I'm not trying to steamroll that. That was really just the thought that I had behind
No, it was
that,
a question.
so.
No steamrolling of that. Just question, how long?
Yeah. That was the first thought, was if we know that they're not going to get killed by our own people, then we have a lot more to play as far as, oh, you have a den father now and you're being raised, and we're not worried that our hard-earned multi-story arc suddenly came to a horrific end.
Regards to the Fera, how would we even contact them?
Through the
Part of the
Corax.
There we go, part of the fun. I like that.
I think we have a fair number of possibilities there.
Mm-hmm.
Bear knew of the Bear Changer already. There is a possibility that he would know how to contact him specifically. We also, of course, Corax would be probably pretty simple to get involved with. There was a Spider Changer who told us that we could go to Albuquerque to meet up with her. She may know of where other Fera could be found. Those are the ones off the top of my head that I can think of.
Okay, options, definitely. That was just what I was looking for. We got options.
Also, Fomori's Bane does know where to find Bastet. And that is all we can say on the matter.
Yes.
All
So
right,
where do we go first then?
I guess we just choose the flavor of how we're going to get to the Fera then. Personally, I think probably our two easiest would be Bear. We just go, Fomori's Bane just goes, has a conversation with Bear. Hey, we're looking for this guy. Or we could go the Corax route. I think those would be the two simplest ones.
I don't know, I'd urge toward talking to Bear first.
Okay.
Because part of me wonders when you're like, hey, Clorax, find me a Garou. And they're like, why the fuck should I? And you're like, please find me a Garou. And they're kind of like, why the fuck should I? And you're like, yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Good point, because they don't want to be found. And so, no.
Okay.
I only knowing that the Garou were murdered to extinction, right? That was a big thing that Earthpillar kind of had some grief on. So, you know,
A lot of them were. Yeah.
He doesn't make his appearance too often. So to know where he would be, I don't know even if the Corax would spell out a Garou to the Garou.
Yeah.
But maybe they would. But I don't know. I would urge that your totem might be the best bet to start with.
I definitely lean towards that because it's the bear totem. We need to find a bear.
Yes.
And we could possibly rest there and garnish some more gnosis and regain willpower and such.
I mean, we could, but Illumins can't.
We have Owl.
Hmm?
Which doesn't do anything.
Yeah, well, but you also don't get to take the cub with you to bear,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, right. Yeah, so we'll
yeah,
need you
so
to...
we'll guard the bebe while
Okay.
you three go talk to your totem.
The baby here.
Woohoo!
It's bebe's chamber.
So,
All right.
how are you guys going to bear?
So we're in the ethereal realm. Don't we just go back?
You can fly
This-
back down, yeah? Well, you have friends who can fly you back down.
Yes. Friends with wings, especially that one friend that's the perfect player right now. Not right.
Dimitri
I call
refuses.
him.
Drop. Bye, Mark.
No! We either fall or catch a ride on our flying allies to head back down to the Umbra.
Well, they also, I mean, and to Sam's point, because it was being very nervous about where we were going to go, because the guys here inside the monastery basically they could get us anywhere. Their moon bridges go just about anywhere outside of, major cairns and whatnot, but they could get us back to Earth if we wanted to go that route.
Oh, okay. So we could...
So part of that was kind of, if we have the general geographic location of where we think Earthpillar might be in the right hemisphere, and we get sent back to Earth, then we could still hide somewhere while y'all in the wilderness talk to Bear.
Okay. That's an idea. It was mentioned that the shape-shifting spider is in Albuquerque, so maybe a moon bridge that leads us somewhere more southward. Not necessarily like at Albuquerque, but maybe they're in somewhere hanging out in the southern states, southwestern states.
I was pretty sure we ran into the Garou at Desert Snow, didn't we? When we hit the quest.
Yeah, that was we had to get people to forget that the Fera were involved, kind of stuff
Right.
like that. So yeah, we did have an encounter with them down there. That would be a good place actually. Yeah.
So we could go there for a little bit, hang out in the forest or the wilderness, and you guys go communicate with Bear.
That sounds good.
Okay. So going to the monastery, you request the moon bridge down to the near... So do you want to be near Albuquerque or near Desert Snow?
I think getting too close to another cairn might be risking it still. So let's go closer to a city, so Albuquerque.
Okay. Launch down. You move through in seconds as you stand before the great spider's nest that is the city. Twisted earth spirits clinging together in the forms of asphalt, crying and moaning as one of them begs for mercy as their face is painted with stripes to denote the road. The desert all around you, vibrant like gold, and the hills of the Rockies passing through New Mexico rising up upon the horizon. The ever cloudy skies of the Umbra as Helios's light gives but dim lights here.
Damn.
Let's head towards the hills. Get away from the city. Make things easier to commune with.
That brings up the real good point, too, that we can't get the kid back into the physical world.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Alright, cool. Better this side than the other side. Trying to hide a giant cub thing in Albuquerque, New Mexico, no matter how much meth people do, wouldn't work out well for us, so...
Yeah. That many phone calls getting reported into one station would definitely raise eyebrows.
Yeah. Just a reminder though that if we're gonna cross back into the physical world, he ain't coming.
Moving through and to the hills, you start to move along as you do see you see several coyote spirits running as one of them looks and goes, "What do you have there?" As another one chimes up. "Looks like quite the backpack clinging on. Does it pack a punch too?" As they start laughing at their own joke as the Krynosborn is getting ornery in who's carrying the Krynos, baby.
If I remember correctly, last session, Mark was the one interacting with the baby. So Mark will have the baby.
So, you got it getting ornery, kind of growling.
I guess I'll try to not use the gift calm, but calm the child down, the cub down, kind of bounce a little, I guess, in my step.
Be careful how you go. You keep going that way, you'll end up leaving your friends a widow.
Mark will just smile at that one, because that one was good.
As you keep going, same direction then?
What do you guys think they meant by that statement?
Spiders?
That's what I'm thinking.
Probably just chiding. But let's keep going. Oh, I saw that look on Keegan. Oh no. I already ended my statement. No.
You sure did. As you do go, and you hear a voice go,
"Oh, lover, my beauty, what do you have there? Is it a morsel for me?"
As a large, spindly, pitch black leg steps out from the rocks, as the arm is 1,000 times too large for the tiny crevice inside the hole, as a large, maybe human-sized black widow comes out, trailing webs as the spirit goes,
"Hello. Oh, lover, what do you have there for me?"
looking directly at Mark.
Greetings. I have with me a Garou cub, but a Garou cub not for you.
Oh, don't play like that.
As the leg comes up and softly caresses your face and then tickles his chin a little bit with the spindly spider leg.
Lover, let me eat. Let me drink.
Perhaps instead of the cub, I offer you some gnosis. Freely given, though, not taken.
Oh, given. Well, perhaps, though most who give me their all.
Both legs kind of wrap around your sides as she kind of climbs up over you and the child, and the eyes are staring right into you. The fangs kind of twitching slightly with anticipation.
Kyle's gonna grab the child and start backing off while Mark gets eaten.
That is kind of my favorite thing. Kyle's arms move in between these spider legs that are clearly on Mark and goes,
yeah. And back away. I would like to use Command Spirit.
Okay. Use Command Spirit. So that is diff 5. Okay, you're able to give one command for the round. What's the command?
Back to your crevice, Spirit. You will not eat today.
Spirit crawls back. You have one turn to get the fuck out.
Yeah. Run.
Running.
As she comes out.
Not today! Not today!
She does not follow, as that is not within her nature, but you do know that there might be one very miffed spider spirit on the way back if you take this exact route. As you start getting up into the hills start to roll. You start seeing little bits of grass and desert grasses, as there's various rodent spirits running around, englings of all kinds. A hawk spirit circles overhead, as well as a vulture spirit looking down, licking its lips until you get to the top of the hill. So now you have to find something symbolic of a bear here.
Symbolic of a bear here. Does it have to be from here, or can it be something we draw in the sand?
That is doable. That'll be a little harder, but it is doable.
Yeah, I guess Mark will just make the literal symbol for bear in Garou in the sand and try to maintain it pretty much.
Okay, as you draw that, you will now need to make a perception occult roll, difficulty 9, as this is the most basic symbol possible to try and find the spirit ways to Bear.
Hey!
So you do find the trail as you start moving, as you go, as you're moving through the hills and you're going higher into the mountains of Albuquerque before you find kind of the glade. It's a little more arid in Bear's realm here, as the black bear spirit looks up and yawns.
Children, welcome home.
Greetings, Bear.
It is wonderful to be home, and wonderful to see you again.
As the big spirit lumbers over, stands up and collects all of you.
Big hugs.
A very welcome hug. But we are here seeking information. We're looking for a Garou, one you know.
Oh, you're seeking one of the bear changers?
Earth Pillar, hopefully.
Why do you seek Earth Pillar?
Well, we would ask him, and the other Fera that he knows how to find, a favor. We have with us a cub that is in no inconsiderable amount of danger from the rest of the Garou nation, and we would, for the time, hide it with them, if they were willing.
Bear takes a deep breath, thinks for a moment.
If it is for the sake of an innocent, I will tell you where I believe Earth Pillar has gone. Earth Pillar has gone north to Montana. He is working with younger brother there.
It's good that he's found other Garou that he can trust to know that he is alive.
Yes, younger brother has several places there that they are defending and trying to keep safe.
Like if they're trying to keep safe there, then it might not be best for us to go.
That may be, but I mean that they're trying to keep their kin safe. Earth Pillar and younger brother have kin that overlap.
It gives us a good place to start. Thank you, Bear.
Thank you for coming, and I hope that you were successful. I've been disturbed at night, like I'm being watched.
We are well wanted at this moment. We are hoping to stop that soon, but we want the child safe before we do anything.
I understand. The best of luck to you all.
Thank you, and stay safe yourself.
You start to go back, following the trails. It takes about, getting there and back, it takes about 4 hours. I need a stamina roll from Zeb and William. Zeb, you don't feel a thing. You're feeling pretty good. A little thirsty, but nothing too bad. William, you got a massive sunburn just all over, and it will make things a little harder to concentrate on for the next, until you have a chance to regenerate and get out of the sun. So you'll take a 1 dot penalty to any physical rolls minus soak. As you see Fomori's Bane returning.
Welcome back, guys. Hope your conversation with Bear was successful.
Whoa, William, looking a little cooked there.
You notice that the perfect child's nose is also slightly red and crusty now.
I think it's about time we found some shelter, or we just get it moving. What direction do we need to travel?
North.
Then let us go. So we just gotta get moving. The sooner we can get out of this heat, the better.
Onward.
So you start following as you see the oversized signs that read I-25 as you have to slowly make your way north via the highway. Unfortunately, this is the spiritual impression of driving to Albuquerque, and let me tell you, it feels longer driving to Albuquerque than it actually is, and so it is thus so in the Umbra.
Oh no.
So the trip from Albuquerque to Santa Fe takes about 5 days on foot in the Umbra. Santa Fe is less web covered, and the buildings definitely have their signature character as the adobe structures and the more art focused places of the city really shine through. As you do see the Meow Wolf just outside with some wildlings laughing and playing about it. I'm gonna keep going by will you be continuing via the Umbra, or
Considering we're going all the way north, all the way to Montana, like this could take a very long time. We might want to consider getting spirits to send our message first, because if we get killed in the 20 days that it takes us to get there, it won't matter.
I can also send emails and have the Glasswalkers help spread the message.
I think spreading the message now definitely is a good idea.
To your point, Kyle, if we get to a point where it's a little bit less desolate, and then we can try to summon some spirits to have them move, because in the middle of the desert we're not going to find much, right? And it's going to be more of a pull to try to get spirits there. Unfortunately, we chose the right place to find Earth Pillar. We chose the wrong place to try to grab spirits that we would normally interact with the message.
And so you continue.
I do want to note that unlike most of our other travels, I would like to be paying a little more attention to the things going on. Just a general level of basic alertness.
Sure. So as you're moving on, it's the next day. So 6 days total now. Kyle, give me a perception alertness. So, at the moment, nothing seems amiss, though you do notice storm clouds upon the horizon, likely an umbral storm that's sweeping through. They're usually rare, but you notice a couple storm cells, some to the west and some to the east of you.
I will point those out to my 2 favorite Thurges. Are those something we might need to worry about?
Int Occult, it will be Diff 8 for Mark and Diff 7 for Zeb. So you both come to the same conclusion. These are maelstroms from the second veil, the Dark Umbra. There are storms getting blown out of the underworld and into the penumbra due to the strength of the maelstrom of the dead and the damned.
Like, are you saying that it's because there's so many people that are dying in such large quantities at the same time?
That's usually what causes maelstroms, but not anything that you've heard about recently.
Okay. There's 2 of them. Reminds me of my vision thingy.
Well, I'm curious what could be happening in the Deep Umbra that is causing this to occur here, especially with the rarity of these events.
Remember the vision that we saw of Hank Berger and the information that we had gotten when we had spoke something the Namers did, and as a result, this is happening to the Restless Dead. I think when we got that message about portions of the Umbra coming together, this might be part of it.
Crossing over in certain points.
Right, because normally the second veil wouldn't be accessible from the near Umbra, right?
Right.
I think we're going to want to go around it and not through it.
Most definitely.
So taking a detour. As you continue your travels, taking your detour, you do miss it, though you do hear untold wailing and screaming on the horizon from the storms themselves, as you see some things go flying into the earth and vanishing. Kyle, it is the next day. Could I get another perception alertness, please? Same diff. You only catch it for a moment. There's something on the horizon. It shimmers and vanishes in the shadows of the storms, and then also makes sure to hide itself in the few glimmers of the sunlight that break through the clouds, whatever it is, but it is coming right for you.
May I please roll Sense the Unnatural if he points it out?
I was just about to.
You may. It smells of the other side of the Umbra. It smells of rot and the swarm.
I'll obviously relay that information.
And Mark can use his Int Occult to try to figure it out.
In the meantime, if it's coming directly for us, William's going to shift to Krynos and activate Razor Claws.
Okay. You all have time to activate gifts. Judging by how it's flying, how it's maneuvering, this seems to be either one spirit that represents swarms, or it is a swarm of spirits. How it's flying, if it is a swarm of spirits, it might be a swarm of bats or a swarm of locusts heading directly towards you.
Mark will activate Resist Pain.
Okay.
And Luna's Armor.
if this is a swarm, then we might just want to run away as fast as possible.
May
Hold on,
swarm, please.
Sure can.
I was just about to ask that, actually.
The smell of the worm radiates from whatever that spirit is.
Probably something the spirals have sent after us then.
Kyle's going to use Strength of Purpose.
Zemulon will activate Spirit Ward.
And a clarification question for me, just because I haven't tried to do it before, I don't believe. Silver claws, can that stack with razor claws?
It can.
It can.
Yep.
Alright. I would like to stack those.
Alright.
Yeah, I was just about to activate that as well.
Alright, you activated Silver Claws. The spirits do fly in. As you see the bat spirits come in, they fly, and then they separate around you as you see half of them fly off in every direction imaginable. The other half stay a good 200 feet, if not more, above you, circling.
Oh, that's maybe worse than them attacking us, isn't it? They spotted us.
Yeah.
Cora, gain a point of rage. William, gain a point of rage. Once the rage you've gained from Silver Claws is higher than your permanent rage, you have to roll Frenzy every time you gain a rage above your permanent.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all non-combat difficulties increased by 1 as well.
Yep.
My suggestion is to fight.
How many are circling above us?
There's a few hundred just normal-sized bats. Like I said, about 200 feet up, just circling and clicking.
Just throwing it out there. When Cora uses her Might of Thor, she's struck by lightning, correct?
Yes.
Hmm?
I don't know if the lightning would affect anybody else, but we could try.
Just
Yeah.
throwing it out there. Desperate times.
Sure, let's try that.
Is there a direction that we can go that gets us to cover, Keegan? Is there
Yes.
any? I think we need to get out in the open. I will fly up there and harass those bats, and y'all need to pick a direction and run in that direction to where you're not out in the open, and at least fight not here after she calls down lightning.
Okie
Running away.
So the lightning comes down. It strikes 2 or 3 bats as they do poof into essence smoke, and the lightning strikes Cora.
Awesome. I like the idea of running for some of us and
Gain a point of rage.
harassing for others, but I've got 1 left. I've got to use my rage. So I was thinking about multiple times throwing my hammer at them, and
The hammer's based on number of yards equal to your strength, yes?
yeah, I think so.
Double check the distance then. I think you get 1 attack, because you get 2 turns with the Might of Thor, with basically 10 strength, but then or 20 strength, but then your strength goes down.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think
I'll double my movement speed. I'll spend the Gnosis to double movement speed, and since I do an automatic 1 essence of damage for everything that I fly within 50 feet of, I'm just going to fly up into the air in a big fast circle and just start messing with bats while y'all run. And then for Gorgeous George here,
I was actually thinking of swapping. What I was going to do is I was going to join Zeb, and then basically Fomori's Bane runs off. Ill Omens are fighting or distracting, because I can use a Point of Gnosis to use Hands Full of Thunder and just keep shooting. I don't run out of ammunition that way, and I can fly with you. So
let's do it.
and I'll use Rage to fire as fast as I can.
Alright, that sounds good.
Kyle ran for cover ages ago.
Him and the kid are safe.
Talking, but I took the kid and was like, "All right, Zeb."
Alright, knowing that,
Man,
we'll just go around the horn rather than roll initiative. Cora, roll an attack roll with your hammer. Does your hammer reach the distance?
So for strength 20, what's that? 200 yards, right?
Is that what it says?
I
It's 5 yards for every dot of strength.
5 for every dot. So that's 50 yards. No, it does not.
Yes.
well, 20 strength should be 100 yards, right?
Yeah,
But they were 200 yards up.
they were
200
200
feet.
feet.
Oh, 200 feet. Never
Feet.
mind then. Then yeah, it should.
We use freedom units.
Yard is a freedom unit.
Yeah, I know. You gotta convert the feet
It's
into a
not
yard,
one
baby.
of the good ones, though. Come on. Who uses yards?
Football. The
Footballers.
biggest freedom unit we have.
The shittiest sport we have. Yes, the bad one.
I'm with Tyler on that one.
Not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's the most American.
All right, so I figure I'll smack at him like twice, maybe.
Okay, roll twice. You hit as you splat one of the bats. Hammer comes back as there's just this flattened bat spirit dissipating on your hammer. Second
Fine with
attack.
it.
Fling, hit the other bat down. William.
I'm literally firing as fast as possible. I'm not necessarily aiming, so it's kind of like trick shot, but it's, again, distractions, using the sound, disrupting their echolocation.
Okay, make that roll.
It's the firearms plus trick shot, right? Because I'm
Yep.
using that? Okay. Dex firearms plus glory.
Alright, those spirits are not able to call out as loudly as they're getting confused. They're starting to run into each other, dipping down a little bit in height. Some of them are starting to move up in an attempt to get away from your trick shot fires. Zeb?
This is literally using the area of effect being me, or the center of the area for that spirit ward, and just flying at double speed kind of through them.
Perfect. You do that as the spirits clearly freak out and they try and fly away from you as quickly as possible as they feel their essence being drained away. Alright. Now, as they start to go up, they actually start flying away as best they can, like giving you a much wider berth, essentially. What do you guys want to do now? Kyle, I will need you to roll a Dex Stealth, and if you're in Krynos, it's Diff 8, and if you're in Glabro or Hispo, it's Diff 7, and if you're in Hamid or Lupus, it's Diff 6.
I'm gonna be in Lupus, I think. Because that would have been one of the faster ways to run for cover anyway, and one of the forms that would be hardest to spot.
You have the child, too.
Yes.
Okay.
But you could absolutely carry in Lupus, just be difficult.
Gotcha.
I'll fly with William, and we'll kind of look around and see what's coming this way, or see if anything is coming this way. Now that
As
we're
you
feet up
fly
in the
up,
air.
and you definitely see things like throwing up smoke and dirt, as you see what almost appear to be like cowboys upon skeletal horses riding out your way, as well as what appears to be a thunderworm that had been forced through the heart of a Karen to slip through here, and some other odd umbral beast. It's a spirit that is massive. It's easily 2 or 3 stories tall, covered in chitinous armor, with the head of a man crawling on all fours with taloned claws as the creature looks up and kind of screams as the human head splits down the middle, revealing a jagged maw with 100 tendril-like tongues lapping at the air. Along with, you also see something almost like, you're not quite sure what it is, but it's this horrid, like, creature that clearly is hundreds and is a swarm itself moving towards you. You have a name in the back of your mind from previous encounters, but the pressure is too on for it to immediately jump to mind.
Are they all coming from the same direction?
No. They're coming from 3 separate directions, and thankfully none of the directions that Kyle ran.
I'm going to go ahead and activate my headset with Cora and Mark.
Okay. Roll your gnosis.
Yep. And I'm just going to relay one message. Run. And I will tell them to run the direction that Kyle went.
Do we need to activate on our side? Not a message like that. I don't think a response is needed.
Yeah, we'll just run.
Okay,
Run.
so you start running.
You're running.
I believe you're both in Krynos, and Cora, you still have Silver Claws, so you do gain another point of rage. What are you doing? How are you? So if you're hiding, Krynos is Diff 8, Dex Stealth.
I am turning off Silver Claws for the time being. And yeah, I guess trying to find a place to hide.
Okay, Dex Stealth, Diff 8, because you're still in Krynos. So you both find places to hide. The only people left in the open now are William and Zeb.
We need to get going, Zeb. There's no place for us to hide. No, get down to the ground.
I'm going to activate Umbral Camouflage.
Alright, let's get to the ground. Big Umbral Camouflage, what's that do?
Makes me invisible to spirits for the scene.
Perfect.
Is it just for you?
Unfortunately.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I'm gonna go a different route, and I'm gonna go higher up and try and use the sun as a way of camouflaging,
Okay.
like the glare.
That will be Dex Stealth. That'll be difficulty 8 still, because the bats are still there, and they're no longer
Okay.
being deterred by Zeb.
Yep, and then it's diff 9, diff 10, because I'm sunburnt, and then I still have silver claws.
Yes,
Right?
unless you want to
Okay.
deactivate Silver Claws.
I will deactivate silver claws, so it'll be diff 9. And you said it's Dex Stealth.
Yep.
Did he regenerate from the sunburn by changing into Krynos?
It was, you had to be sufficiently out of the sun, and because you guys have
Okay.
been traveling through the sun, you haven't had a time to just sit and chill with like a day of recovery.
Sure, okay, that makes sense.
So he'd be able to
Now is-
regenerate other damage, just not this. Because the aggravating effect is still there.
Yeah, I'm assuming like I'm not damaged. I'm at a negative.
Yeah, you're just at a penalty.
Yeah. Can I spend a point of willpower to stealth?
You can.
Okay, I will do that.
Alright, you get up into the glare, and it seems that the bats lose you as the powers converge. Zeb, now that you're closer, you get a good look at the creature. It's a mass of spider-like creatures with blackened hides and seeping wounds. They move around with their head twisting back and forth, crafted of 100,000 little arachnids. As it steps forward and it kind of looks around, it moves and kind of shifts as it kind of chitters and looks around. Can I get an intelligence occult diff 7, please? Mind Eaters. These are spirits that haven't been seen for over 100 years. They were spirits that were known to travel the Wild West of Garou expansion in the Second War of Rage when the Storm Eater was free.
What else converged here? Like all of them now kind of came to this location because of the bats
So
up there? Okay.
Yeah, the giant worm creature, the thunder worm that bursts from the ground and kind of... It has a bit of your scent because it can feel you through the earth as it
Sure.
dives and moves about. But because you're perfectly still, the creature doesn't quite get it before three black spirals show up.
They want the child. I know they want the child.
As the one snaps, it gives a hiss as their hyena-like faces kind of...
I'm gonna roll blissful ignorance, please, sir.
Okay.
All right, it's basically -4 to any rolls for perception if they're actively looking for me.
Perfect. So they are, so I will roll for them. Roll Dex Stealth.
All right, I'll use my dice for Al.
God damn.
First thing, got to bleed it. Bleed it for the eye. What about our fellows? They don't know we're here yet. The Thunderworm will keep them off our trails, though. Come on. The spirits have failed us, but we'll feed them all the same.
As they start to move off in various directions away from where you were all hiding.
As soon as it's safe to come down, I will.
Okay, you come down. Everyone else?
I'll go ahead and radio to Mark and Cora that it's safe from what I could see to come out.
So yeah, Cora will peek her head out, make sure that everything is okay, and
After Kyle can actually see friends, he will emerge.
As a child kind of growls, as it has like the deep guttural voice. Hi, Yul.
Oh, you got it! And Kyle will play with him some.
his
Grabs your
first
finger.
word.
Grabs and holds your finger tightly, looks at you and kind of smiles and says, Worm! Worm! And gives a good bite onto your finger.
Kyle will play up agony.
Teeth are sharp, so he might not be playing up that much. The kid's about 3 months old now, and the accelerated rate of Krynos, he's about a year old, maybe a little older of the Krynos born to human years.
And you were so good when those monsters were chasing us. So well behaved. Thank you for being quiet.
Do we all see this touching moment that Kyle's having with the
Oh
cup?
yes, all the blood included from his finger.
Well, there were some spirals among that group that are apparently off on their own, trying to find the child. I'm a little disturbed at some of the spirits that have been summoned now. Appears things are more, well, just as dire as the stargazers told us. Everyone all right? Thankfully.
Fine.
Minus a finger. What did you discover?
Zeb will relay at least the conversation that he heard. And other than that, some of these creatures that are being summoned now have been lost for some time, mostly because of successfully binding portions of the worm away. But now we see older horrors that had previously been banished coming back. So that means more powerful things crossing into the penumbra, like what we just saw now.
Is that because the levels, the layers, are more connected, or is that because something has actually been let loose?
Well, remember what the Stargazer said, right? The worm slowly starting to claw its way out of its prison. So both. The layers are denser, and certain bindings are starting to break.
I suppose I'm not as informed on how the bindings work as I ought to be.
Well, bane tending was usually a pretty secret thing to do, right? Because those that were doing it were typically accused eventually of serving the worm and executed. And so the person that was doing the very important job didn't reveal that they were doing it because people get suspicious and then people start dying.
Do these bindings bind that bane into the deep umbra? Or deeper?
Honestly, it depends. Sometimes if it's something like here, older and younger brother were known for holding certain things away in the Pure Lands and what they did. But that's all rumor, because who wants to talk about that? Like, I only remember hearing about a member of older brother being executed for doing the job.
I recall that, yes.
But if we find Earth Pillar, and even those of younger brother he's been working with, we might be able to find out more. I know it's a non-answer answer.
No, it's something's better than nothing, and I suppose it doesn't necessarily help me to know. At any rate, I think we should get further from here, in any direction.
If we can get to a spot where not all the Gaian spirits have been scared away by horrible worm creatures, we can try to start sending out messages. I wouldn't want to pull any here that we're just getting destroyed.
I also think we need to start incorporating our aliases again. If the black spirals were able to find us, they might be able to locate us easier just with our name. So we need to actively try and hide from them.
As you say, TechnoSpeak.
So, as you guys go traveling for another 9 days in the Umbra, you finally get to a place that seems somewhat familiar as you are just south of Trinidad, and now in the mountains proper with actual trees and more mountainous regions and more naturalistic scenery. And Kyle, thankfully, you have seen nothing tracking you at this time. What would you all like to do?
I feel like we should take a wide, give like Colorado Springs and Denver like a wide berth, like major cities. But I could be wrong.
No, I tend to agree with that. Particularly Colorado Springs and Denver, because that's where we live. But outside of that, I mean, it may be time to send those emails and gather those spirits.
Agreed.
I'll
go ahead and pull out my cell phone and start whipping up a draft.
Alright. And what kind of spirits are you summoning, and where are you sending these spirits?
What I was going to do first was really look around and see what's numerous here.
Okay.
And even down to like what direction are the winds going right now.
Okay.
Just to get an idea of what I might use that's natural here, because and the thought process is what works maybe here in Colorado that could get to final days, or some others even in New Mexico might not get to Agatha in New York.
Got it.
And so I'm kind of being cognizant of what I do here is going to be very different than what we might do that far out, because I have an idea of what I might do for Agatha, but that'll just be a slightly different thing.
So there are spirits of the Greater Roadrunner, which would pass into the areas of desert snow. The wind is a west to east wind. Might be useful to getting to Agatha. There are several, thanks to some nearby lakes, mosquito spirits that may require some interesting gifts that could definitely be used to enter the regions of the Unified Heart, as well as Sacred Stone. And there are several coyote spirits, which will give you access to a large part of the continental US, even if they take a bit more time to get there.
There's something quite amazing about just what a nuisance we've been for so long to send mosquitoes to get people like Final Day's attention.
We should. We
Really
should.
I mean, you can also call him on the phone too, but there is just something just truly hilarious and amazing about the idea that we'd unleash mosquitoes just to pester the crap out of people.
I think mosquitoes for Agatha and Final Days. I think it's poetic. I think that sounds like it's fantastic.
We just won't be able to swat a mosquito for the next, 10 years. We're all going to get Lyme disease.
Lyme disease is ticks.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Malaria.
I don't wrong about that.
Malaria.
Look at malaria.
We're all going to get malaria.
Not the one that came to America. That's a different species. Get West Nile, Zika.
Oh, yeah. All the good ones.
So William is drafting up that email, and Zeb, have you come up with the spirits you want?
I'll leave the wind maybe to Mark. Yeah, I'll go with mosquitoes.
Okay.
And I'll go with the coyotes too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll have to do those individually, of course.
Right. Well, and we'll do a ritual here of sitting around a fetid, nasty, still piece of water, whatever we can create, since it is still the high desert.
There are several naturally forming lakes here, as well as stagnant pools of water.
Yeah.
If you go into the town proper, you find a couple, drums full of water and tarps that are perfect for mosquitoes to lay eggs in.
Right.
Especially this time of year.
We'll go and have ourselves a look and subject ourselves to the mosquito feeding frenzy.
Okay. As you start giving yourself, as you all lock hands and you sit there, you endure as the mosquitoes land and crawl on your body as they start nipping in and drinking just a little bit before buzzing away in your ears, a little bit on your nose, the inner bit of your lips, the like. All right, for that kind of punishment, it'll be a -1 difficulty to the roll, though.
Those are the nicest mosquitoes I've ever summoned.
So as you do, all the mosquitoes leech off your body and combine into one large mosquito. As her wings unfurl, she lands on the stagnant pool, and you see her drop some eggs in there.
You have done so much, friend Garou. How can I help you?
You and your kin have done so much to sustain this planet. It is a shame they would view you as a pest when your role is so vital. We ask that you and your kin carry a message for us of great importance, so we might extol the role of mosquito in these dire times of the end, and the life that you've given so many.
Where and whom do I give this message to?
The two that I will send that are, again, states apart, but still in the general vicinity, will be Wind Tamer and the one called Final Days.
Yes, we can find these, but you asked for 2 Garou. You've already given much for me and the fairer sex, but the men, the more delicate of us, they require something too. Come back and plant wildflowers so that they may drink the nectar and share in the bounty so that our children are strong.
Nothing would give me greater happiness.
Then it is agreed.
I would ask that you deliver this message to those 2 august members of the Garou Nation. A Krynos-born cub without blemish, born of true Krynos-born, is among us now. The nation must come together to decide on their fate. the prophecies that concern this child, and judge the actions of those that harbored and participated in this violation of the litany. The determination of the concordant that we ask will set the course for the Garou nation as apocalyptic visions and prophecies come to pass.
Spirit then flies off, and before she leaves, she goes,
You do not seem like a Garou who would break their word, but I warn you, my children may be displeased if you do, and I cannot guarantee your flesh if you do.
I shall not defy them.
as the spirit nods and flies off. And that's 2 Garou down. William, you compose your email and you send it off to
Leads of Steel.
Yep. And now, Mark, would you like to begin the ritual of summoning the wind spirit?
Of course, who would like to join me?
Everyone.
I assumed all of us.
Alright, so that
that's
gets...
before.
Alright, so... difficulty 4 then?
Go down to difficulty 4, yep. Alright. The spirit kind of comes and it starts to swirl around you. Why do you call me?
I come to ask a task of you, and in return I will do a task for you.
What sort of task can a Garou do for the wind?
I know a fellow wind spirit from my home, and I've learned from him. A task I believe I could perform for you is at a time of your choosing, I may run through a forest to knock things off the trees.
Ooh, that sounds fun, but no, there's not enough trees here to stop me. No, how about this? In the physical world, and he gives you an address, there is a shed that I must squeeze through and it gives a horrible howl. Push the shed over, break it so that I may move freely.
It will be done. And for you, I only ask a message be delivered to a Garou.
What is the message?
Mark will recant the message. A Krynos-born cub, without deformity, born of 2 Krynos, is among us. The nation needs to come together and decide their fate and the prophecy that concerns this child, and judge the actions of those that have harbored and participated in this violation of the litany. The determination of this concordant will set the course for the Garou nation as apocalyptic visions and prophecies come to pass.
Spirit nods. Very well. Farewell. And there's a gust of wind, some dust gets thrown up in your eyes.
That's 4.
Our last was going to be Tatiana.
So what spirit is getting summoned for Tatiana?
We might take a slightly different approach in contacting her, depending on at least where her sept is.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna have to do an intelligence occult to try and recall that. It'll be diff 6 because she's an elder.
One whole success on that. Ugh.
All right, so you're fairly certain that she is the Sept of the Sentinel in northern New York, if you remember correctly.
Well, we're not going to go all the way to New York.
It's to get a Fenris sept.
Yes, supposedly, as far as you know, off your 1 success.
Right. Well, let me just ask to get. Cora, have you heard of the Sept of the Sentinel in northern New York?
Nope, not a whisper.
This is where I believe the home sept of Tatiana Gets the Week is. And I think we might take a slightly different approach in the spirit that we summoned to bring the message to her. I think we should have a fight.
Okay.
A long, drawn-out fight. And based off of what we might attract, that might be the very thing to spread a message about your pugilism will bring someone forward. That individual we will ask to bring a message forward differently instead. I don't know if anyone else has any other idea, but I think in this aspect, in dealing with the Get of Fenris, I wouldn't just send anything.
We're not sending a butterfly spirit,
right.
too.
I wanted you to take it seriously, and the seriousness of it would get her attention.
Agreed.
How do you plan on fighting, and to make sure it's as drawn out as possible?
But, there you go.
Fist fight? And
Sure.
Hamid just
That would
up
actually
Fight
slow
Club
it
it?
down.
straight up fight club
You
it.
want to do
Actually, that-
Glabro so you can
Glabro.
regenerate.
Glabro.
Oh, Glabro, sure.
Do like
Yeah.
that's what it is. It'll be just a Glabro tournament. That's what we'll do. We'll have a Glabro tournament. And
Sounds
some
good.
Pugilism.
That sounds fun.
Isn't
Guys.
this like the friendly fighting from the 1950s and 60s movies?
Well,
As you're like, isn't this the friendly fighting of the 1960 movie? Cora and Glabro jumps up, grabs you by your hair, pulls you down, and then starts elbowing you right in your fucking throat as you're just like, Cora!
You're my best friend!
Headbutt.
I love you so much.
Just beating the shit out of him.
Mark will kick her in the stomach.
We'd start out with probably, whatever the bottom 3 of us or 2 of us that would get eliminated pretty quick in the first round, and we'd fight for a champion.
Then a loser's bracket, yeah.
And a loser
Yeah.
bracket, right,
Okay.
because you don't stop fighting even in defeat. But exactly the point would be to keep it
As you guys are going, losers bracket goes. Cora goes up and grinds the face of her 2 pack mates into the dirt just to draw out the point. Zeb's William's ready to do the same, and then Dimitri picks up the baby and kind of shakes it in front of his face, and so it's just him and Zeb going at it.
And after the period of time for this ritual, Keegan, is when I will, after regenerating the wound penalties, begin the summoning.
All right, as it starts to get dark, and you see the shimmer of a bright star, and a wolf spirit of ice lands.
Nurgle sends his regards.
We're gonna send Nurgle to Tatiana Guts the week. Yeah.
One of Nurgle's stars. Yeah.
One of those stars. Yeah. But this is.
Oh man,
He'll
just
take
the
it seriously for sure.
Just the imagery. No! I summon you! Punches somebody.
The spirit comes down. You've done it after a while. The fight's going raw, while Zeb is conducting, and the spirit comes down.
It has been some time for Maurice Bane and Ill Omens.
We wanted to showcase our strength and our determination for a very important message we want brought to the Get of Fenris, and among them their champion, Tatiana Guts of the Week. And we figured there'd be nothing less than determination and grit shown here for the importance of what needs to be brought forward.
Ah, yes, your message, the child. And Nurgle sends his regards. Remember, not all blades are meant for cutting foes. They're meant for cutting barriers.
I'll give the message acknowledging the might of great Nurgle and the need for his power when the final days come. A Krynos-born cub without blemish, born of 2 Krynos-born, is among us now. We ask the Get of Fenris, of course, and the nation as a whole to come together to decide on the fate of that child, their prophecies that concern them, and judge the actions of those that would harbor and participate in this violation of the litany. We ask that the concordant and its determination set the course for the Garou nation, as apocalyptic visions and prophecies come to pass, and for the Get of Fenris, the very bedrock of their belief in Ragnarok.
I will share the message. Though, I have to say, my lord will be pleased. It's not every day one uses their own blood as collateral.
As the spirit turns into an icy blade that shoots off into the heavens.
5. That's all 5. I think it's good to take a rest here and then continue north to find Earth Pillar.
And so you do. You rest, and you get ready for the next day as you prepare to continue your journey through the Umbra to find Earth Pillar. But that is a story for another day, and we will find out how that shakes out next time. Thank you to everyone who listened. We'll catch you in that next episode. Bye.
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 See you then.